Sicily and Normandy are a carbon copy of each other. What happened in Sicily repeated itself, but much bigger in Normandy. So here, on the night before the invasion takes place, paratroopers are coming in to be dropped on Sicily to secure 15 bridges on Sicily to be in Allied hands before the sea invasion coming the next morning. So these 350 Dakota planes are flying from Tunisia in North Africa across the sea to drop the paratroopers on Sicily. They fly over this big fleet, these 2,500 ships below them filled with soldiers going on to the beachhead. And some gunner thought that these Dakota planes were German planes here. Sicily starts with a big disaster. The fleet opens up with everything they had on their own aircraft coming out with it. 28 Dakotas were brought down. 800 paratroopers of the American 82nd never reached their target. And Eisenhower was devastated. After all that planning, things go haywire from day one. But one thing was learned immediately for Normandy. If you see pictures of aircraft for the Normandy invasion, aircraft now have something that identifies them immediately. They started to paint these white and black stripes on the wings and bodies of aircraft to make ground-to-air recognition instantaneous. So the moment you look up and see aircraft with stripes, for goodness sake, don't fire, those are, we call this lesson number 1 for Eisenhower. Whoever survived of these paratroopers eventually were coming down. But here, another big thing happened. There was this heavy wind blowing that night, and many of these paratroopers were scattered over large areas of Sicily, far away from these bridges where they were supposed to land. And again, on the ground, friendly fires were reported. They shot at each other again by mistake. This time to blame the helmets. The helmets of the paratroopers, very similar in shape to the German helmet. Part of the Germans were paratroopers themselves, and their helmet was very similar. So it's pitch black, darkness, and all you see is shadows coming out, and you fire at them, not knowing that your men are not supposed to be there because of the heavy wind. They were dropped, and you're shooting them by mistake. So another thing was learned for Normandy. The famous crickets came out. The clicking devices were introduced to paratroopers. So you come down, you click. If you hear clicking, go, be careful. Friendly troops are around, so don't fire at the first shadow you see is coming out. And one last thing. Here they were testing lots of new equipment. The famous ducks of Sicily came out. The UKW became known as this vehicle that could go through water and land at the same time. The first amphibians are being tested. They were found to be excellent for the job, and they used the potential of America, industrial-wise, to get them ready for the next invasion. So after absorbing all these things, Eisenhower leaves Malta to go back to Dover, much wiser than he came here from before, after seeing all these things happening here. And of course, the last gentleman coming down, the Navy, 2,500 ships. The traffic jam between Malta and Sicily, London's rush hour will be something similar as you are coming to get ashore to find a place on the beachhead. So these are the invasion of Sicily here. That was happening here all the time. So that is part of the ship ventilation. If you go down into an engine room over here, it will be very similar to that from some Sankey ships, and it found itself here to get the air flowing down. So, this is nothing to do with the invasion of Sicily. Once that heavy iron door will be closed, that will be top secret area, only the generals and their staff. But from here on, this is the day-to-day routine of war, the defense of Malta. We are 1941, we already moved the air between that room and here. And 1941, this room was one of the most important rooms in Malta. A fighter control room. From here, any plane flying over Malta is being monitored down here. So the situation is this. In Malta, 1941, we have only 70 fighter planes on the island. And you are fighting against 1,000. 20 to 1 as you start your day fighting. But actually, the biggest problem of all was not the numbers. Time is your main enemy. The enemy planes from Sicily take just 20 minutes, reach Malta and start dropping bombs on your 3 airfields. So we were losing planes destroyed on the ground here. 20 minutes is just not enough time to get your fighter plane from the ground. You have to send him 20,000 feet up in the air to meet the enemy planes as they are coming. They were never able to go up in time. So something had to be done, otherwise we'll finish. So here we have a change of command. A new Air Vice Marshal is coming here by the name of Keith Park. He's a legend. He's been active in the Battle of Britain defending London the previous summer. So Churchill sent one key officer, go to Malta, see what's wrong with that island, see how you can improve the defense. So he's seeing all these attacks here, what limitations we have, and he came up with this. This is a new strategy of air warfare being introduced here. It's called the air umbrella. We are going to keep aircraft flying in the air for long periods of time to defend the island from above. And he came out with this system. One squadron, 12 aircraft, were kept flying at 20,000 feet. Another squadron will be flying at 12,000 feet, practically halfway down. And another squadron will be flying at 7,000 feet. 3 layers of aircraft are going on Malta. It's going to be like an elevator, sending planes up and down all the time. So, duration. You fly for 1 hour, 10 minutes. After 1 hour, 10 minutes, you have to be back on the ground, otherwise you fall out of the sky as petrol will finish. The type of aircraft that we have wasn't helping us a lot. It's the famous Hawker Hurricane. It's a good aircraft, but still very slow. You take an agonizing 45 minutes to take you up to 20,000 feet. You start your spiral, you're going out in circle, and going up like a corkscrew over the island until you reach 20,000 feet. Most of your fuel is gone. So you have just 10 minutes up there, in which you have to make contact with any enemy plane you find, shoot at him, veer down, and literally start praying that you reach ground before petrol will finish. Everything is stretched to breaking point, but somehow they managed to keep 36 aircraft going up and down over the island. Out of 70, your precious reserves are just 24 aircraft left on the ground. The idea of this was that as any 12 start to fight, you send up more aircraft to help them. But with hurricanes, we practically cannot do it. They took so long to go up, the battle would be already over. So practically, this was working well in 1942 when Spitfires reached Malta. But Spitfires were coming here in very short numbers. Only 47 reached Malta in 1942. So you still use your Hurricanes to form the 3 layers, but now your reserve aircraft on the ground are the famous Spitfires. As the Hurricanes start to fight, you send Spitfires to help them. And it worked. It worked so good, in fact, that after 1942 we were not losing any more planes destroyed on the ground. We were maintaining a system of solid defense over the island. So each time you want to send planes up in the air, technology at its best. That is the link between here and the 3 airfields. One telephone from there, I want 12 aircraft. 12 aircraft will be sent up immediately. There is still bombing going on. It was not the first time you go there, pick that telephone, and it's dead as the doorknobs. Communications have been cut. The telephone lines are down. So as you are coming down the tunnel here, there is that iron gate. It was a garage, and in it, 6 matchless motorcyclists with their dispatch riders will be there 24 hours a day. The moment communication break here, The officer here will write down this small note, hand it to one of those guys, you hop on your bike, no speed limit, low as the first airfield, and you rush to get communications going. So this place never stopped operating. So this is 1941, the three people who actually started to work in this room. So your officer sitting here, looking at that board, and every 15 minutes, every pilot flying over Malta is making a short radio call here. And his position is being monitored on that board. The person receiving radio communication, and he's passing them to the other guy to put them on the board. Now, we have on this board, we have to send it over to the next room. Everyone is sharing and wants to know where our planes are. And actually, this is another piece. The wooden board and pieces of paper is all that they had to work with. So you take your paper, you fold it into two, you write on both sides, flip it across here, and you're telling the other room that at this level you have 12 aircraft flying at 20,000 feet. All the rest of the information is being sent over to the other side. Actually, this is incredible. Keith Park got this idea from his favorite hobby, horse racing. He's copying the toll board of a horse racing stadium to get the info, and it worked. Here, it was like clockwork. All the information being received were immediately passed on to whatever it's wanted. So he was creating also a strategy. With only 70 aircraft, he managed to get a rotation, keeping planes, even small numbers, up in the air, coming down, refuel, send them back up again. All the information of the flight is recorded there from the moment a plane is made ready by the ground crew to whenever it started up, the different layers as it's going up until it reaches the 20,000 foot mark, in position, meeting and sighting of the enemy, engaging and coming back down. Everything is reported and being passed on to the other room. So this is the fighter control room here. Now, what were the enemy doing with 1,000 aircraft? What was their strategy? This is something you have to compare like with like. They could get 150 aircraft coming over to bomb Malta every 1.5 hours. Very, very German, very, very punctual. We call this the steamroller. 8 air raids a day, hitting Malta, one after the other with 150 planes at each time. They were doing this on purpose. The more you keep Malta subjected under attack, the more your enemy fighter pilots are going up and down their island to keep defending it. So you are tiring your enemy pilots. We only have 90 fighter pilots here, flying 70 aircraft, which means that you are in the air practically every day. The first week, the second week, the third week. You finally so exhausted, you make a silly mistake up there and you get down. 249 pilots lost their lives over Malta in 3 years. So this has the two systems. One, a constant trying to grind you under, the other rotation, making the most of what little things you have to continue to defend the island. And so, here, this is the main room where all this strategy of war is taking place. So, imagine your 36 aircraft on that board. The officer in command sitting on his throne, looking across, he gets to see how many planes he has defending the island. On the big map, Sicily, from where the enemy planes are coming, little Malta, so all the red arrows are enemy aircraft coming over to hit the island. The only advantage the British had over the Germans and the Italians here is one thing called radar. Malta is equipped with 6 radar stations the Germans know nothing about. So as these radars are coming, this is the they know what they are heading for and their position is being put on this map here. So the officers are here looking down, you actually see how many enemy planes are coming. You know how many of your defense aircraft are already in the air. And you can calculate actually how many more aircraft you have to send up according to whatever is coming against the island. So here we have a small film. We found this at the Imperial War Museum in London, so we're going to see this film 70 years ago during an actual air attack. Yeah, I'll probably not see it. Actually, we just got it last year.
Natural history film on television, on special tape on the channel.
Part of it, yes, part of it, but I mean, actually, we were very surprised on finding this film, but it's very rare